Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. It is the 22nd of May. It's 11 a.m. and we have another absolutely packed show. I don't think today is going to be done in an hour. I think we're more likely going to overrun maybe 12:15, 12:20, something like that, because we have an awful lot to get through. Today is, of course, Bitcoin Pizza Day. We're going to tell you what that is at the start of the show anyway, for those of you that keep seeing pizzas and Bitcoin being mentioned. Well, good morning to everybody that's watching. Good morning to Kabir. Good morning to Tariq, Hidden Agendas, Mags, Kishan, Only You, everybody that's in chat. Welcome back to the show. We have a lot. We have X-Files. We have Anxious Annie. We have some cryptic clues today. We're not going to give you the headlines. We're going to give you some cryptic clues. Quantum Appeal, Time to Stack, 7 picks, and this is a good one, a free airdrop. Now, we haven't done a free airdrop or found a free airdrop worth looking at in a very long time. Most of them, they've gone by the time we've caught them. There is an airdrop on Solana, and the token hasn't launched yet. It launches in, I don't know, 3 or 4 days' time. I'm going to give you that free airdrop address at the end of the show. It's totally free. I've checked them out, been through the white paper, I've made a video. I'm going to put the video live at 1 o'clock today. So I've already checked them out. I think it's legit. And either way, it's free. So it's not going to cost you anything other than your time. So all of that to get through. And of course, the markets and the X-Files. Bottom right-hand corner, I am not going to remove $74,000 until we hit it. I am going to tell you that when we hit $74,000, my next target for Bitcoin will be $80,000. I don't see a lot between 74 and 80, so that's the next target, and that's a little bit of a sneak peek into where I think we could go if we get there this week. Bottom left-hand corner, 131,500 followers. If you do not know who I am, if you do not know who Crypto Warehouse is, hit follow and subscribe before. Don't bother checking us out, don't bother looking us up, don't bother checking our previous videos. Just hit the subscribe button and you will not regret it. We try and give you as much alpha in an hour as we possibly can in a day, and we do that 6 times a week, Monday to Saturday at 11 o'clock, and twice a week. Normally Mondays and Wednesdays we do a trading show. So tonight Brogan will be streaming at 9 p.m. looking at the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, looking at the Kronos chain, looking at the Solana chain, doing an awful lot of good work to help you. And the best thing of all, everything is free. We don't charge you anything for any of this information. So why wouldn't you subscribe? You'd have to be crazy, wouldn't you? Good morning, Danny. Welcome to the show. So let's get on and have a look at the markets. There was something else I was going to say. Oh yeah, the theme of the show today is Come On Bitcoin. What was I saying at the end of yesterday's show? We need to hold 70,000. I said yesterday we were going to be at all-time highs or below 70,000. Now, Bitcoin is playing a game with me because quite clearly you can see that we've had 1/3% gain in the last hour. And there we go, 69.9. Thank you. We're going to find this price a good price to hang around at. We can still come down to 69,000. We can still go a little bit lower. I have the Bitcoin chart to show you in a minute. But the 70,000 for me was a key, and we didn't hold it. Yesterday afternoon when the markets opened, we started to retrace. We were coming down and we broke it, and now we poked our heads above it for about 20 minutes this morning. So that's going to be the next battle for the bulls and the bears. Ethereum is $3,750. That's still up another 2.5% since yesterday. Again, we could easily be at $4,000 today, tomorrow, around this time. It's very difficult. I was watching another streamer this morning, yesterday, don't know when it was, and he was saying that if the Bitcoin price goes to where he thinks it's going to go to, he has no idea where all of the other altcoins are going to go. I've got a different perspective on that, and I don't base it just on the price of Bitcoin. I base it on the total market cap, which is coming in at the minute 2.6 trillion. I think we could see 9 trillion. I think we could see 10 trillion, 8 trillion, around that figure. So we're looking at a 3 to 4x from here. That would give us pro rata, things do outperform better than others, a 4x, 3x on a lot of these coins. So you're going to see a $10,000 or $12,000 Ethereum. You're probably going to see a $2,500, $2,000 BNB. You're certainly going to see a near $1,000 Solana. So you have a rough idea. But as always, he doesn't have a crystal ball. I don't have a crystal ball. So what has done exceptionally well over the last 24 hours? Pepe is up 26%. Gala has rebounded. We talked about Gala yesterday. We talked about the hack or the compromise, whatever you want to call it. They're recovering. They're back up. They're up 17.5% over the last 7 days. So they've got back all of their losses. Floki is up. Book of Meme is up. Bonk is up. There's a lot of gainers in the meme coins. Ronin is up. Let's try and pick out some of the ones which are not necessarily meme coins. Mantle and Ronin, they are the ones which are doing very well. I don't know if I covered Ronin on one of the shows recently. I think I did it yesterday, the day before. Losers then, Lido is down a touch. This will be profit taking on Lido. I'm certain of it. It's the biggest Ethereum staking site. They have a huge percentage of Ethereum staked on them. Now, they're not going to come down 9% because of a problem with the token. They've come down 9% because they ripped the same way that Ethereum ripped. So that's profit taking. Beam is down 6.7%. Multiverse is down 6%. Toncoin, which I think, personally, if you ask me, I think Toncoin is going to fall outside of the top 10 any day now. I don't see the value in the chain. I don't see it as a top 10 coin. Graph is down a touch. Phantom and Gnosis are all down a little bit. Gains in meme coins dump coming up in the next few days. I mean, again, what you should be doing with meme coins is taking profits. We said it yesterday. Take some profits out of meme coins and you will not go far at all from being profitable. Meme coins are there to make you huge gains, but the problem is you make huge losses if you don't sell. Look at GME, the stock we talked about, the Solana meme coin that's associated with the actual stock. It's a huge pump, it's a huge dump. It's going to keep happening. So happy Bitcoin Pizza Day. 14 years ago, somebody paid 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. $700 million today. However, this was the first recognized transaction. You have to go back 14 years to understand what happened. At that time, it was the equivalent of somebody walking into your shop and saying, I would like to buy some pizzas for some pixels or some lines of code. And that person said to themselves, what the heck? I will give you 2 pizzas for these 10,000 Bitcoin, whatever. What would be interesting to do a video on is to see where those 10,000 Bitcoin ended up, because you can obviously trace things online. Maybe the pizza owner is now worth $700 million. Maybe he sold them for 20 bucks. Who knows? But that's why it's called Bitcoin Pizza Day. It was the 22nd of May, 2010. That's when it happened. All those years ago. Now, we need to move on super quickly because I'm probably not going to get through most of the show. So this is important, the psychology. This is to do with Bitcoin and the price where we are now. Buy calls are high among crypto traders, with Bitcoin ascending above 71,000 yesterday, Ethereum above 3,770 for the first time in 10 weeks. The weak hands panic sell here. Just a bit of FUD can help justify a new Bitcoin all-time high. So, this is the price where people think I'm going to take profits now at $70,000. And I said to you before, I think the next target after 74 is 80, which psychologically is a huge barrier. We're never going to win one of these wars without a battle. We're never going to win at 80 or 90 or 100 or $150,000 without a fight, because psychologically people will be taking profits. And as he points out, this is where the weak hands sell. You sell at 70 and it will be at 74 before you know it. Now, there are going to be people who sold at 74 in the last spike and bought back in at 58,000. Great. The majority will have held thinking we were going to $52,000 and $47,000 and didn't get back in at 58. That's timing the market to perfection. Everybody can wear 2020 goggles in hindsight because that's just the way it works. So we're not done yet. Think of it. Are we done? Is the Bitcoin run over? Is the bull run over? Have we got to the end of the bull run 1 month after the halving? No, we haven't. We've got a long way to go. Now, this is massive news. Anyone expecting Gary Gensler's X account to be hacked today, tweeting a fake ETF approval? Well, that's what happened last time, wasn't it? That is what happened last time with the Bitcoin approval. As far as I'm aware, Kabir, it's tomorrow. I believe Thursday is the day where they announce it. So maybe it will be hacked because it was hacked the day. Was it the day before the Bitcoin announcement? I think so. Now, this is huge. I was thinking how I was going to word this on the show today because I'm never going to tell you to buy anything because that's not my job. It's not financial advice. But Jupiter, we've talked about them since November. It's now May. 6 months down the line. We've told you about the token launch. We've told you about the prices to get the token at. Yesterday, they have announced this, the Giant Unified Market Initiative. This is their effort to bring all assets into a single atomic market, accessible by everyone in the world with a fraction of a cent. Only on Solana, powered by Jupiter, enabled by the best partners in crypto. Now, this is so huge that I am going to make a video about it. It's too big. But in a nutshell, what they want to do is take stocks, shares, government bonds, real-world assets, other chains, and they want to bring them all to Jupiter. So Jupiter will have everything on it. Now this down here, Meow posted this on New Year's Eve 2023. Imagine a world where highly liquid markets for forex, stocks, real-world assets, or crypto assets, wrapped or native, commodities all sit in one single state machine, and you can transact across all of them with a single atomic transaction, taking 1 second and 0.02 cents. 0.002 cents even. Now, I can't go through all of this. It's huge. Suffice to say, they are partnering with each of these assets, each of these projects that have a particular asset. So, Dinar Global, American real estate, treasury bonds paying you 5%. I can't actually, I was say I can't keep going through all of these. There's so many of them. Anyway, the point of the matter is they're going to try and bring as many of these as they can to Solana. What happens if they fail and they only achieve 60% of this? They are going to be 20 times bigger than they are now. If they achieve everything that they set out to in here, they will be a $100 billion business. If they achieve it all. Now, aim for the stars, land on the moon, whatever that expression is. If they only do what they want, or only do what they want to do within the confines of what they can do, this is still going to be a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Now, it's not happening today. Don't buy the token today at $1.20 and say, why is it not at $5 tomorrow? It doesn't work that way. What happened to all in the chat? They all gone. Yeah, it's very weird, isn't it? I can't see anybody. I've got no messages. It still works. We're still live. I don't know why. I think there might be a problem. Maybe there's a problem with the stream. Very weird, Kabir. Very weird. Let's see. Well, Hidden Agendas has just typed 123, and Only You has typed we here. So I think it's just not flashing up who is in the chat. I don't know. It's very strange. Anyway, So that's the big news on Jupiter. That's the first bit of big news on Jupiter. The second bit of news on Jupiter is the LFG vote number 3 starts today, but it will be starting at about 2 or 3 p.m. this afternoon. I'm going to make a video about it. That's where you get to vote for one of 3 projects, and that token that wins, you get those tokens if you've staked your dupe and you have voted. So check that out. On the other side with Jupiter, do you think if there will be a pullback or we just get it as it is? Well, what I would suggest with Jupiter is if crypto absolutely tanks in the next couple of weeks, let's say the Ethereum ETF was hot air, it's not happening, the markets retrace, Bitcoin comes back down to 60,000. If you can buy Jupiter at 95 or 98 cents, it's a bargain. It's a bargain at $1. It's a bargain at $1.20. There are very few tokens that I am massively, massively bullish on. And I've told you what they all are anyway. You know what they all are. Some of them I hold, some of them I don't hold. But Jupiter is my unicorn pick of everything, including the AI tokens. Jupiter is the one for me because they have massive scale, massive volume. They are undervalued. For a project as it is today, they are undervalued. As a project that's going to do everything I've just shown you, they are massively undervalued. And again, I don't say that lightly. You know I'm not going to shill something. Do I hold Jupiter? Yes, of course I do. I got the airdrop and I bought more. I have no involvement with the team. They don't have sponsorships or anything like that. I don't have any involvement with the team. I've never talked to anybody at the team. But just watching them from the outside evolve is enough for me to be bullish on the direction of them. There's other projects that I like as well. Don't get me wrong. It's not the only project I like, but what they're thinking of doing is what every other DEX should be thinking of doing. And for that matter, every centralized exchange should be doing the same thing, bringing in real world assets. If you can buy US treasuries at 5% through a real world asset token attached to the actual backed, actually one-to-one with that treasury token or treasury yield bond, whatever it might be, then that's not like putting your money onto an exchange or a decentralized exchange and earning 12% that might disappear tomorrow. That's you holding a digital version of a US treasury bond. There's a difference. And if they can provide that in a secure and safe manner, it would be something that you need to look at. Now then, again, President Trump, we mentioned this, their website is up, they're accepting crypto. Don't take this as massively bullish news for crypto because all of it's going to be sold, isn't it? If you send $50 million to Donald Trump, guess what? He's going to convert it back into cash and use it in his campaign. So it's bullish news that he's accepting it. It's bullish news that we are now on the lips of Biden. Actually came out and said yesterday, I haven't got the actual clip, I can't play it anyway, but he said that Trump is winning the race in terms of investment because he has all the oil and crypto bros sending him money. So Biden's even admitting that he is going to lose because he's just not on the side of crypto. Bullish Bull, good morning. Solo Sky, good morning. Solo Sky, I contacted them again this morning and they have replied, but they haven't replied about your issue. So I will chase them up after the stream. And a few more. I can't believe it's 20 past 11. We haven't even got into the show. We're going to be here all day. So, breaking news, Solana-based Nyan Heroes, a free-to-play shooter game, has launched its token. So, again, why am I mentioning this? I have no connection to them at all. They were part of the Jupiter LFG2. I voted for them. I made a video about them. They came 3rd out of 6. They didn't win the token. We didn't get the airdrop. The token, however, still went live yesterday, so it is tradable. I've made a video about it. I've also done a live review on Monday night. Myself and the Oracle went through Nyan and explained why we think it could be a great project. And it's on Solana, so don't fade that at all. Next up, and the final one before we get into the show. So, Pamper. Pamper, I've contacted. I've told him he's going to be my news outlet for everything to do with Cronos. In fact, I think I put that under here somewhere. I did. Added to my stream. Thanks, Pamper. I'll be using you as my news channel. So, what Pamper does is he keeps an eye on the Cronos chain, and we're going to spend some time each month looking at projects on the Cronos chain. Why? There's 100 million people over there. There's 100 million people who have access to Cronos, and we need to get them into crypto. We need to get them off the apps. We need to get them off the exchanges. We need to get them into crypto, proper crypto. Now, Cronos chain is growing rapidly. It's just introduced ZK, zero knowledge rollups. It allows, and I'm not going to go through it all, scalability, it's secure, cost effective, it's cheap as chips. Interoperability. We are now connecting Cronos to Ethereum and every Ethereum layer 2. Okay, that's a unified connection of blockchains. We told you for the last 6 months that the way we see things at the minute is there are 50 different spiders webs. Each one is a different blockchain. And until we've got interoperability and one massive, great big spider's web, we're going to have issues when retail comes to crypto. Imagine going to play Nyan Heroes on Solana, and you've got your MetaMask wallet, and you've got $100 of Matic or $50 of USDC on Optimism, and you go to play it, and it just says to you, "I'm really sorry, but Nyan Heroes is on the Solana blockchain. You don't have any funds there." You have no idea how to get the money across. It should be seamless. We need to get to the point where you have a wallet, it doesn't matter if it's MetaMask, or it doesn't matter if it's Phantom, it doesn't matter what the wallet is. You want to play a game. That wallet should get you to authorize the transaction, and everything else in the background is totally irrelevant. Back in the good old days when you had a satellite attached to your roof, if you were old enough to remember them, you'd press a button to turn it over from Sky News to CNN. And believe it or not, your satellite would move a fraction. It did it all for you. Now imagine having to manually move your satellite every time you wanted to turn your television over. It wouldn't make any sense, would it? That's what we're asking retail to do. Your aunt wants to come and play Nyan Heroes with you, and you give her a wallet and you put $50 in it, and you give her $50 on the Ethereum blockchain, and Nyan Heroes is on Solana. Is she ever going to get to play that game with you? Absolutely not, because it doesn't work properly yet. Even though we're really bullish on crypto, it's just not ready. We are serving people food that isn't cooked, isn't even on a plate, and we're not even giving them a knife and fork. So we're going to get there. And these things which sound incredibly boring to maybe most of you, interoperability, security, scalability are absolutely vital to making everything work together. And again, I mean, I'm not going to go through each and every point of this, but we need to, every chain worth its salt should be implementing some sort of interoperability to allow people to go across chains without having to swap and do all of these things that we have to do. And in the future, we will look back and we will say, do you remember that time we had to swap $100 of USDC on Ethereum, and then we ended up with $70 worth of USDC on Solana because of the fees? And we'll laugh about those times because those times are going to be going very soon. That's the end of them. Now, crypto insiders anxious and divided as spot Ether ETF decision looms. This is the big news. Currently, betting markets indicate a 61% chance of approval, up from 11% a few days ago. Now, if you remember what I said there was a square root chance of F-all that this was going to be approved this side of next year. And my theory was that we weren't going to see the Ethereum ETF until Gary Gensler was removed. We had a new president in America, and we had a couple of months from the inauguration, which was February. So I was saying April, May next year. Now, this is what happens. Biden realizes he's losing on crypto. So he's forcing this through. It's clear as day he's forcing this through because they want to be seen as pro-crypto, because they realize it could win them 5 million votes, 6 million votes. And that's why it's now a 61% chance. I don't think that Gary Gensler is going to now decline it. It would be political suicide for the Democrats for this not to go ahead. So I am now more than 61% bullish that this is going to happen on Thursday. I just cannot see them not doing it. Maybe they will give the deadline. They're not going to get it done in time. They've filed one set of reports. They have to wait to file the next, which is the S1, I think. So we're not going to have an Ethereum ETF in June. I don't think. I think if we do, it will be the middle to end of June. At the very earliest, maybe July. Or Gary Gensler will turn around and say, we're going to do it in August. But you have to remember the election is in November. So how long can Gary Gensler delay? Because we've only got 2 months from August until the election. Is he going to wait till August? Is it going to happen in June, July? I think end of June at the earliest, July is when we see it go live. And that gives us the summer for the Biden campaign to go out and declare themselves pro-crypto. Who knows? So that's what I think. I'm not going to go through too much of this article because it's all talking about the same thing. The unexpected move in Ether's price demonstrates the high stakes surrounding the SEC's potential approval of a spot Ethereum ETF, he commented. Now, bear in mind, people like Gary Gensler, they are gone. This time next year, they won't be there. So you've got to also remember the timelines with these things. We always want everything now. Gary Gensler was appointed by Joe Biden, and when Joe Biden loses the next election, Gary Gensler will step down. There's all these people online saying, well, the first thing that Donald Trump's going to do is sack Gary Gensler. No, Gary Gensler will walk because he was appointed by Joe Biden. It's just how it works. And Donald Trump will appoint somebody who is pro-crypto. Absolute, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, if Trump loses and Kennedy wins, Kennedy will do the same thing. He will appoint a pro-crypto person because he's pro-crypto. So Democrat or Republican, whichever wins, it's good news for us. And that's February. November is the election, February is the inauguration. So we have 9 months. Now, what's 9 months between friends, eh? It's nothing. They believe that 15 billion and 45 billion will flow in if they are approved. Now, remember again, Bitcoin is the big dog. Ethereum isn't. Ethereum isn't going to get the scale that Bitcoin has had. You're probably going to see 20% of the volume of what we've seen in Bitcoin. That would give us, and again, you've got to remember, if there's 10,000 Bitcoin worth of assets being bought a week by the ETFs, we would probably get the equivalent of 2,000 Bitcoin worth of Ethereum being bought every week. What's that work out at? I can't remember. 1 billion? No, 120 million, whatever it is, 120 million a week worth of Ethereum being bought. That's a lot of Ethereum being bought. A lot of Ethereum being bought. So even though the numbers are smaller, the market cap is smaller. That's also something to bear in mind. So pro rata, it's probably going to have a huge effect on Ethereum. And again, I thought we would get somewhere near $10,000. Without the ETF, I think we're going to go in excess of $10,000 with this ETF. And something else to bear in mind, the level of predictions that you're going to start to see are going to be crazy. You are going to see people talking about a $250,000 Bitcoin by December. You're going to see a $15,000 Ethereum by the end of the year. You're going to see a $2,000 Solana by the end of the year. And they're going to tell you these things because that's what you want to hear. They know that confirmation bias in your heads is important to them getting clicks. So they know if they make a video and they say, "Oh yeah, easily, you're going to see a $50,000 Ethereum by the end of this bull run," and you're going to want to hear that because you've got 20 Ethereum. So you're going to know you're going to get $1 million at the end of the bull run. But by the end of the bull run, when you're stuck with $300,000 worth of Ethereum or $200,000 worth of Ethereum, you'll be knocking on the door saying, excuse me, you said we were going to get to 50,000. And then they'll be long gone and they won't care. And they're just doing it for clicks. And that's something to bear in mind. The more we get into this bull run, the more ridiculous price targets you are going to see. And you just need to taper it down and understand and have some level of realism in what's going to happen. We are not going to see $1 million Bitcoin this cycle. I would be very happy with $200,000 to $240,000. I'd be more than happy. That's still a 4x from the all-time high, almost 3.5x from the all-time high. Don't expect some of these people to be true. And if they are, we'll all be happy. Now, who remembers this from yesterday? And then who remembers me pointing this out yesterday? This is our level of resistance, 71.4. 71.4 was our level that we came to, we bounced off, and we came down. Now, this is not the end of the world, but I said to Brogan on the live stream on Monday night, I said, if we don't break this line, we are going to come down to 68,000. I think I said 68,000 on the stream, 68, 69. Now, we bounced all the way back down to 69.2. Now, 69.2, again, look at this. I'm going to move some of these lines around. Let's just borrow that line for a minute. Right, let's just create that for you. Hang on a second. I want to show you something. It's about there. Maybe a little bit lower. There, okay. So, the previous attempts that we've had, we kind of got stuck in this little range, and we're stuck in it again here. The bottom of this range is about 69.2, 69.1, 69.2. Doesn't really matter. Again, what's $100 between friends? So we're stuck in this range. As long as we hold around here, I think we are not going to replicate what we did the last two times. The last two times, we hit that price and we came down. We really came down there. Now, what would cause us to come down this time? An ETF rejection. If this ETF gets rejected or delayed or whatever, then we are likely to see something to bring us back down here, which would be about 67,000. So let me take that line back now. Can't be having too many lines on the screen. I'm not Brogan. Right, so we'd probably come down to about there, 65,000. That's where we would go if we get a rejection or some negative news. And remember, they're giving a 61% chance of an approval. That's still 39% chance it doesn't happen. So 65 is on the cards for me, ish. I'm not an expert, remember, on TA, but 65. Also, maybe if we just honour the volume area, maybe it's 65.8, 65.6. If we get approved, where do we go? We go back up to that area there, which is 74,000. And that area there, which I was talking about a few weeks ago when we were down here, is on the cards. This gets approved, we could run at 74,000. That's the chance. Now, if we just use those statistics that we've been given, we've got a 3 in 5 chance of going to 74 and a 2 in 5 chance of going back to 65. And that's what I'll stick with. I think that's a good enough chance. 60-40 chance of it happening. So, again, it doesn't matter. It's going to break. It's not, this isn't the end of the bull run. If we were in November next year, I'd be awfully tempted to start dollar cost averaging out about now. Because I'd be thinking, right, this is the high. This is the high. It's November. We've not broken it. We're going to start spending the next 6 to 12 months doing this. So I would start dollar cost averaging out now. But we're not. We're 1 month into the halving. We're 5 months away from the effects of the halving actually hitting us. The exchanges are losing hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin a month. We haven't seen the supply shock. If anything's going to get us to $250,000 or $200,000, it's that supply shock, because it's never happened before. And I'll always use the toilet roll scenario. During the pandemic, many countries ran out of toilet roll because it was mentioned that the supply shortage will affect supply. As soon as people realise there's no Bitcoin left, they will go and buy more Bitcoin. We've been telling people since here to buy Bitcoin. $22,000. If you knew today that we were going to be at $70,000 January last year, what would you have done any differently to what you've got now? Would you have gone all in on Bitcoin and Ethereum? Maybe. Would you have dollar cost averaged in and bought at all these different levels? Maybe. Because 2020 hindsight is a great thing. So the people that are going to FOMO in, they don't FOMO in here because you're being told it's going to $10,000 by these same influencers that are telling you that we're going to $1 million. So guess what? They're going to FOMO in. They're going to FOMO in here. They'd rather pay $72,000 for Bitcoin than $22,000 for Bitcoin. And it makes no sense other than the fact that it's human nature. It's human nature. When you're at $22,000, the fear of going to $10,000 is bigger than the possibility of going to 30. When we're at $70,000 and we've been going up at a 45-degree angle for 6 months, you don't think about a retracement. You think it's going to go to the moon, so you're going to buy. And those people that buy in, by the way, they're the people that are going to pump your bags at the end of this bull run. Because when and if we are at $200,000 for Bitcoin or $150,000 for Bitcoin, they are the people that are going to buy your Bitcoin at $150,000. So we shouldn't knock them. They are your exit liquidity, which is a horrible thing to say, but it's just a fact of life. The same way that people turn up to the opening of a new shop and join the end of the queue. By the time they get into the shop, everything's been sold. But they don't care because they'll buy what's left and they'll pay through the nose for it. So 74,000, 60% chance of that, 40% chance of coming back to about 65. All depends on how it goes. And we do have the Ethereum chart to very quickly show you what we have going on here. My stats are totally broken, by the way. It's not showing that anybody is in chat. Only you has said that would be excellent to see it hit over 100,000. I think we're going to be over 100,000 before people know it. And again, we haven't even really begun. We haven't even really scratched the surface. So Ethereum then has moved up where it has wiped out all of this downward action. Now, we drew an awful lot of lines yesterday when we were showing you where it was bouncing off its support band. So we can get rid of all of that now. We don't need any of that. Where are we going to go? Well, first of all, we have the previous target to get to, which is here at pretty much $4,000. We are going to see, I think, some sort of correction. And I don't mean a massive correction. I think we could do this. Now, I like my curves, right? Because what you see with a lot of people who draw charts is they do these like horrible squiggly lines. I don't like them. I prefer curvature to my charts. So I think what we could do is come back down to here and then break up towards the next target up here, which I believe is 4.4. Now, everything is pointing to some kind of retracement. RSI, way overbought. We've come a long way from all of our moving averages. We are out. This is like running into battle. You're at the Battle of Helm's Deep and you're running in to fight the orcs and you charge in on your horse and you're 300 yards down the path and you look back and the entire army hasn't moved and you're on your own and you've got 50,000 orcs running towards you. That's where we are now. Because the army is still here. And you're here on your own. Now, I'm not saying for 1 second that this is going to happen. Because it's not. But I do think it would be nice to see some form of, what's the word, support built here. We've had around here, we've had this price form support, so it's not unheard of, but we have moved an awful long way away from the rest of the army. And I think this is as close to a god candle as you're going to see. We went from 3,070 all the way up to 3,800. We gained almost 25%, 22% in that move. It's a huge move. And I don't know whether it would be good to see this, maybe. Because we have come down and we did test support and we have, shot off. But I don't know. I just think we're a little bit further ahead on Ethereum than on Bitcoin. And it's understandable because of the ETF news. And listen, Gary Gensler, as Kabir said, if Gary Gensler comes out today and says we're going to approve it on June the 1st, then, you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter what I say. It doesn't really matter what anybody else says. We're going to do that. And then we're going to be up here and we're going to be knee deep in orcs. And the army's going to go, hang on a minute. Hang on, we'll be there in a minute. We'll be there in a minute. And it'll do that. And we could be fighting here on our own for a couple of weeks while the support band catches up. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. And listen, you're not going to get anybody else comparing Ethereum to Lord of the Rings on a Wednesday morning, are you? Really? I mean, you don't get this anywhere else. So if you haven't subscribed and you haven't followed us, you know what to do. Now, I am going to look at one more chart today, and that is the stacks chart. So that is not the end of the Lord of the Rings analogies for the day. That daily ETH candle, green candle, was the whole Solana market cap. Absolutely it was. And a lot of people have got to understand that Solana is never going to flip Ethereum. It's never going to happen. But it doesn't have to happen. It doesn't have to happen. They can coexist. You know, Ethereum is an office block. Solana is a nightclub. You can have both. They're not the same. They are blockchains, great. Bitcoin is a blockchain. They're all blockchains, but that's just the technology. Look at the ecosystems that exist. They are not the same. Yes, they've got NFTs, and yes, they've got DeFi, and yes, they've got RWAs, and yes, they've got DEXs, and all these kind of things, great. But seriously, Ethereum is playing with the big boys. Ethereum is playing with BlackRock, and Goldman Sachs. It's sipping cappuccinos at 10 in the morning, in a park. Solana's still getting home from the night out at 6 and 12 a.m. It's still partying. It's still seeing rainbows in the skies. Let's not compare them because they're not the same. As you point out, when Ethereum moves, Ethereum has, 6-7 times the market cap of Solana. Solana's not going to catch it. They're just different. Again, apples and pears. So, Professor from Ripple Research Initiative urges crypto firms transition to quantum-resistant tech immediately. So this is the Quantum Peel article. Look how far we've got to go. I have been talking way too much. So, maths professor and cryptography expert thinks crypto firms need to prioritize setting up defenses against the threat of future quantum attacks. I tell you what I've got. When I was about 25, which is a long time ago, 25 years ago, I read a really good book about the history of cryptography, before even crypto existed. And it was written by an English professor, and it traced back the history of cryptography. Roman times, the Greeks, World War II, Enigma code, all of these missing, these tablets that have to be deciphered, that haven't been done, all this kind of nonsense. And it's worth the read. It's a little bit like A Brief History of Time, the one written by the Hawking chap. And it's worth a read because it will help you understand how we've got to where we've got to. And cryptography is about keeping secrets. That's what it is. Keeping secrets from other people. Crypto assets. You are keeping your assets locked in a key. Think about it. They use the word keys. It's a little bit like law. Law is based on maritime law. That's why you have the dock. Cryptography is about keeping secrets. It's 12,000 years old. It's not something that was invented with the advent of Bitcoin. So it's worth doing a bit of background research into things like cryptography, because it is actually pretty interesting. So in an interview with Dr. Massimiliano, nailed that one, a professor at the University of Trento in Italy warns the future quantum computers could easily solve problems that are foundational to digital signatures. Now, before everybody starts to panic and think that quantum computing can crack crypto, several cryptocurrencies have already implemented anti-quantum techniques into the algorithms. It's not something that hasn't been fixed, by the way. It has been fixed. It just hasn't been integrated by everybody else. The probability of quantum threats materializing may not be imminent, but is significant enough to warrant proactive measures. So MD5 is a standard code. You've got 64-bit, 128-bit, 256-bit encryption. You're gonna need a bigger boat, because this is Jaws, and it will bite you and it will rip you in half, and that's what quantum mechanics is about, quantum computing is about. But we fix this. So in 2021, a team of researchers at the University of Sussex examined what level of quantum computing power could threaten the Bitcoin blockchain. Now, this is the interesting bit. State-of-the-art quantum computers today have 50 to 100 qubits. Our estimated requirement of 30 million to 300 million physical qubits suggests Bitcoin should be considered safe from a quantum attack for now, but devices of this size are generally considered achievable, and future advancements may bring the requirements down further. So, just to put that into context, Bitcoin is the most secure blockchain, or the most secure network for that matter, that humankind has ever made. It will take 3 million times the amount of quantum computer processing power than we have in 2021 to crack Bitcoin. Now, where there is an issue is, I can't remember the name of the law, but there's a law, Murphy's Law. It's not Murphy's Law, but you know what I mean, where computing power doubles every 18 months or 2 years, whatever it is. So it's not an issue now, but it will be an issue in 20, 30, 40 years' time, potentially. So a qubit is a quantum bit, the basic unit of calculation. Anyway, we don't need to worry now, and there are blockchains that have already implemented it. So the reason I'm telling you about that is that a lot of people in the pub or the coffee shop or your workplace will say to you, oh yeah, crypto, it's easy. Once we get quantum computers in our homes, we'll all be able to crack it and I'll be able to steal your Bitcoin. No. They will need 3 million times the amount of possible programming capacity than they had in 2021 to break into Bitcoin. 3 million. Just have to remember that. That's your comeback to anybody that tells you that quantum computing can bring down Bitcoin. What is likely to happen is quantum computing will attack very much like a pack of deer being chased by lions. The lions don't go after the alphas, do they? They go after the weak, they go after the old, they go after the kids. In blockchain, these quantum attacks will happen on the ghost chains. You know, maybe something like Ethereum Classic, maybe something like Phantom, something like that will get attacked first, not Bitcoin. That's just literally going for the king of the jungle. It's not going to happen. So if Bitcoin doubles, Stacks will 4x in 2025, Dan Crypto Trades says. Now, I don't know why these keep popping up, these crypto Hall of Fames, but they're quite nice. The graphics are quite nice. So I've got the Stacks website to show you. Stacks is one of those projects that you've either heard of and you like, or you've never heard of. That's why I put it into the show. I don't really care about people knowing exactly who I am, he tells the Hall of Fame. The KG crypto influencer does reveal that he is based somewhere in the Netherlands. I am not sure if it is smart for me to say these things. We will move on. We don't really care about this. Okay, we don't care about the interview. Let's get on to the actual. Let's get onto the actual information about Stacks, which I thought was on here. I'm sure there's a bit about Stacks. I'm sure there is a little bit about Stacks on here because I read it last night. Never mind. You know what? We're going to go and show you the website. And then we are going to show you the we're going to show you the chart for Stacks. So Stacks, for those of you that don't know, is a Bitcoin layer 2. Okay, not many people talk about them. You might have heard of ordinals, and you might have heard of inscriptions and things like that, but not many people talk about layer 2s. You know, if I said to you, name me a layer 2 on Ethereum, you might say Optimism or Arbitrum. Solana doesn't have any layer 2s, believe it or not, because it doesn't need roll-ups. It's fast enough as it is. Bitcoin, that really does need layer 2s. So you've got this project on here. This is so bright on my screen, I can't actually see my mouse. So what do you have on here? You have Stacks, which allows people to build applications that use Stacks and sit on top of Bitcoin. Now, why is Stacks important? I think you will be able to, in the very near future, use either Stacks or another project that we've talked about in the past to have a DeFi platform. And that DeFi platform may allow you to earn a yield on your Bitcoin, because you should do it natively, not wrap it up and have it on Solana or have it on Ethereum. You should do it natively. So you have on Stacks and built through Stacks, you have wallets, you have your NFTs. If you go down here, these are the NFT projects which are on Stacks. You have your tokens. Some of you may have heard of STX, which is the main token. SBTC, that is a synthetic version of Bitcoin. You've got other, you've got Banana, for example. I don't want to go through all of these, but there's a lot of tokens on here, which I'm trying to see if we recognize anything else on here. USDT, I suppose. XBT, yeah, some wrapped versions of Bitcoin. So use all these kinds of things on here, which you can go and look at. And for all intents and purposes, this isn't there yet. You know, Stacks is not finished. It is still building out. Remember, Bitcoin is the biggest and the most secure. So Stacks building on top still needs some ways to go. And for Stacks to be able to do what it really wants to do, it's going to need further improvements to the Bitcoin chain. Not many, just a few tweaks here and there to allow it to do things. NFTs are not great for Bitcoin. Inscriptions are not great for Bitcoin. They just kill the network. So we're going to need things like the Lightning Network, which allow you to carry out instantaneous Bitcoin transactions, and Stacks, which is another layer 2 that sits on top of Bitcoin. If you ask any Bitcoin maxi, they will not be a fan of layer 2s. Bitcoin is pure in their eyes. They don't want it touched. They want it to be kept as it is. But the market will demand some level of tapping into Bitcoin. And again, my favorite idea is the idea of using maybe a native or a Stacks layer 2 to stake your Bitcoin with Stacks and earn a yield from a separate chain. That's how I would like it to work. So what do I mean is, you would be able to use your Bitcoin to help secure another proof of stake chain, such as Solana, Cardano, what was the one I was thinking about the other day? Solana, Cardano, I don't know, even Ethereum, who knows? Because you can tap into the liquidity of Bitcoin without Bitcoin leaving the Bitcoin blockchain and benefiting another chain, and in return you would get, for example, synthetic versions of Solana. Now Cardano aren't going to go for it, but you never know, Solana might do. So that's why I like Stacks. I don't own any Stacks. I don't know if it's going to be the layer 2 on Bitcoin, but it's certainly one of the biggest ones. And as the article should have told us, if Bitcoin moves, very similar to what I was saying yesterday about the layer 2s, if Ethereum rips to the upside, Lido and all the layer 2s are going to go with it. Not pound for pound, but certainly a big percentage of those gains. If Bitcoin goes to $250,000 or $200,000, Stacks is going to 4, 5, 6x. It's just the way it's going to happen. So keep an eye on Stacks. I'm not going to make a video about Stacks. It's not the kind of thing that I like to review. It's too mainstream and people already know about it. So I'm going to look at that. Crypto trend is NFT, then meme tokens, then DeFi on every chain. Yep, pretty much. Meme tokens bring adoption to the chain. That's the thing that they get you in on. Bitcoin has just got to NFTs. Exactly, yeah. I think the issue with Bitcoin is we need to find a way to earn a yield on Bitcoin. Now, you can't do it natively because of miners. So you can't do it because it's proof of work. There is no reason why you cannot use Bitcoin to secure other chains. Charles suggested it a year ago now, and he was talking about being able to stake Cardano and earn Solana. There could be a way to stake Bitcoin and earn Solana, and I would be all over that, because even think of the money-making opportunity for the project that actually builds that out. Think about it. 54% of all the crypto value is in Bitcoin. If you allow people who have Bitcoin to earn yield on Cardano or Solana, and you only give them 60% of that yield, you're getting on Solana, maybe instead of getting 8%, you get 5%. 5% return on Bitcoin. Cardano, I think, only pays about 3% at the minute, so you might only get 2% out of Cardano. But does it matter? Does it matter what rate you're getting? Because at the minute, without risk, you don't earn anything. With risk, you can earn what you want. You can earn on some of these DeFi platforms. I don't recommend them. But with Bitcoin, there has to be a native, and this is the important thing, native way to earn a yield. And I think tapping into other proof-of-stake chains is the key. Now, Stacks then. We're going to very quickly have a look at this. So what Dean Crypto Trades was talking about was Stacks being a 4 or 5x from here. That would put it at $8. So let's just throw a line on here. I think he's probably talking about there, to be honest. I think he's probably talking about that fib level there, which is probably about right. Now, where are we down here? Stacks is retraced, broken below its bull market support band. There we go. We've come up, I think we probably had a close at $3.60. So we are, what have we fallen by? 40% down, maybe 40% down from where we are. We didn't just come down, we absolutely crashed, bounced, couldn't break back up, and we've wicked along here. Now, that's not necessarily the most bearish retracement. We came down to, previous points, I suppose. Now, what we need to really do is kind of get back up to here, which is this price point here. And that would be at $2.89. So in theory, you could make an easy 30% on Stacks, because when Bitcoin rips in the next, hopefully in the next few days, then you're probably going to see this breaking here. That's the support band. Maybe you're sideways a bit and then back up to here. So $2.90. So it could be a very easy 30% gain on Stacks. I don't hold any. I'm not going to buy any probably, but there's good returns there. It shouldn't be where it is. It's a layer 2 on Bitcoin. I think if one big announcement comes out from Stacks, it's going to absolutely moon. Absolutely moon. Now then, 11.59. I did say we were going to overrun today. I am trying to keep on top of it. This year into the next year will be very, very interesting. Absolutely. It certainly will be very interesting. And it'll be interesting for more reasons than one. I do think that people are still underestimating the impact of ETFs. If you go and look at what ETFs did to gold, it transformed the asset. And people are still talking about huge retracements in Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been the greatest launch and greatest adoption of an ETF in the history of ETFs. It has outperformed everything, and people are still fading Bitcoin. Now, conversely, I think this is the last great bull run for Bitcoin especially. I don't think we're going to see a bull run like this ever again. I don't think next bull run in 2028, 2029, I don't think it's going to be anything like this. I think this is it. I think we are getting to the point now where we are going to see adoption, and I think everyone's going to know about Bitcoin in 4 or 5 years' time. I think we're done in terms of returns. And that's in terms of 20, 30, 40 X's on Bitcoin and the top assets. I think the most we're going to see for Bitcoin, if you think about it, if we go to 250,000 in this bull run, that's a 4x from its previous all-time high. In the next bull run, are we going to do a 4x, or are we likely to do a 2 to 3x, which would be $500,000, $600,000? I think that's more likely, because Cathie Wood and the likes who spend time looking at this, they're suggesting that 2030, 2032, we're going to be at $1 million. So if we're going to be at $1 million, we're not going to get there tomorrow, are we? So I think 200,000, 250,000, then maybe 500,000 or 600,000, then $1 million. And that diminishing returns could be how we play out. And that will all be fueled by the ETFs. And that's why I think it's the end in terms of your gains from Bitcoin. And what will happen after this bull run is you'll have to look for value in coins that can tap into the growth of Ethereum and Bitcoin and Solana. And that's when the altcoins and maybe the altcoin market becomes the next big bull run. Not saying there's never going to be a bull run again. I'm saying for certain assets, maybe Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum, this is the end of their journey in terms of adoption. So 7 cryptos to buy amid spot Ethereum ETF frenzy. Again, I pick a few articles and I don't read them, and I haven't read this one yet. So I'm going to have a read and I'm going to see whether I agree with these or not. I've discovered some coins, 3 in fact. Can you maybe check them out? I will have a look certainly after the show. So what are the coins recommended by? So let's see today. They've not got a good track record. I'll be honest. The last couple have been trash, and that's me being honest. So David Pakima. Let's see what David Pakima has got to say. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly because we haven't even finished, have we? So digital assets have picked up. What should you be buying amidst this frenzy? Ethereum. Okay, yep. I agree with that one. Bitcoin, yep, I agree with that one. BNB, absolutely. I believe BNB is pretty much at its all-time high, which is incredible because nothing else is. Bitcoin is obviously in Ethereum, but nothing else is. You know, Cardano, XRP, nothing's near its all-time high. BNB is sitting at all-time highs. So, BNB, totally agree with. Solana, absolutely. Doge, no. I don't agree with that one. Ripple and Cardano, absolutely. Now, what's interesting is this is pretty much the makeup of a very good but conservative portfolio. If you were to hold Ethereum, Bitcoin, BNB, Solana, even Doge, Ripple and Cardano, you wouldn't be far wrong. You wouldn't be far wrong. At the end of this bull run, you'd be looking at a solid 4 to 6x on that portfolio. And it might not be the 1000x that people want, but we're not living in 2018 anymore. We have to appreciate what we've got. So that's the best one I've done so far. As a starter portfolio, that is actually probably a 9 out of 10. The only thing I would take out is I would swap Doge, probably for a coin that's got more runway, a meme coin that's got more runway. He just mentions the top 10 coins per market cap. He does and he doesn't. It's easy to go down that list and pick them out, yes, but Look at the other ones that we've read from this website. Every one of them has been trash. They've been recommending buying coins that I would never suggest buying. GME, for example. So when we see one like this, he's right. At this moment in time, for what's happened to Ethereum, you should be in large cap assets, because these are the ones that are going to pump before the smaller caps. So it's actually not that bad. I don't know what you're saying, and the only one I would swap out is I'd swap out Doge, and I would maybe look at getting a combination of, I wouldn't say Pepe because it's at all-time highs, but I'd look at something like Bonk, maybe Dog with Hat. I don't know if Dog with Hat's going to fade away now though, but I'd certainly look at Bonk. Bonk I think is going to rip up trees. I think it's going to do really well this bull run. It could be the top meme coin of this bull run, I think, and that's because it set itself up for this bull run. Now, we are not going to look at Summer Loving because it's really not that exciting. In fact, let me bring it up. I'll bring it up and I'll give you a very quick précis of what this is about. Can't believe we've got to 6 minutes past. And we've nearly done it. So CFTC Commissioner Summer Merzinger on overzealous crypto regulation and the need for action. So there she is on a podcast, looking very happy with herself, talking about the fact that the SEC are just going to town on everybody and fining everybody and trying to build a fiefdom around themselves so they control crypto. She is coming out and saying we need legislation, we need to control what is and isn't, or what does and doesn't require enforcement. She's talking about regulation. She's talking about all the things that you need to talk about. Now, why is it important? Because there is talk in America that crypto is going to be handed over to the CFTC, which is the commodities regulator. Now, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with Gary Gensler that everything is a security, and I don't agree that everything is a commodity. Very simply put, my definition of an asset, of a security, is if a company launches, sells its token to you, makes $50 million, builds the business off the $50 million, and your token reflects the growth of that business, that's a security in my eyes. Especially if you can stake that token with them and they do a buyback scheme, which will push the price of your token up. It's like an inverse dividend. Think of it that way, an inverse dividend. Either a buyback or a burn of your tokens over time is an inverse dividend. It's not an inverse dividend, that's probably the wrong way to describe it. It's a dividend in a different way. Rather than increasing the supply by giving you more shares, they're reducing the supply, like BNB does. So I don't think everything is a commodity. And again, we go back to the Howey test. I know Kabir is going to put that into chat now. The Howey test, we need one for crypto. Did the company generate its funds to build its business from the launch of a token? That would be one question that would be on my agenda. Was there an ICO, initial coin offering? How does that coin generate its value would be another question. Does it generate its value by the performance of the business? If it does, it's got to be a security. It's all well and good me sitting here and saying crypto isn't a security, crypto is a commodity, down with Gary Gensler, down with the SEC. Where does that get you? That's not life. It's not fact. Gary Gensler is wrong. CFTC are wrong. Why do the CFTC want crypto? Because they will generate their revenue from regulation. If you want to operate in America as a crypto exchange, you'll probably have to pay them $1 million or $2 million a year, $10 million a year, whatever it might be, to operate. And they will get bags and bags of cash, and they'll be sitting in a room piled high with $50, $100 notes, right? It's exactly what Gary Gensler wants, except he doesn't want to regulate it. He thinks he can make more money out of crypto by fining companies. Both of them want the money. Both of them don't have you as their best interest. And that's the sad part of this. Look at what they're doing in the UK and compare that to America. The UK regulator has said, we're going to regulate crypto the same way we regulate traditional finance, but we're going to change it a little bit so it works. That's what they've said. Isn't that the way forward? Absolutely. You can bash the UK as much as you want for whatever it's up to right now, but when it comes to crypto regulation, they've hit the nail on the head. Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai, exactly. Well, Dubai's a bit different. Basically, Dubai is bribing everybody to go to Dubai, so we can't really count them. But on the whole, the Western, what's the word? The Western regulators outside of America are doing a fine job. It's America and it's tin pot government that are causing the problems. So she just wants the revenue, and she's wrapping it up as we're good for crypto. There needs to be a different way to go after crypto, in my opinion. Anyway, we are at the end of the show, and now I'm going to show you a free airdrop. I am going to make a video about this, and I'm going to put the video up in about 45 minutes time. Now, full disclosure, this project is not live. This project goes live in 3 days and 13 hours, but it has an airdrop. I found them on X. That's where I find most of my tokens. This is how you take part in the free airdrop. Free pre-sale airdrop. Now, go and find their post on X. Like and repost it. Register your wallet and your post with them. Get the airdrop. Now, again, I don't see these very often because normally these tokens have gone live before I can tell you about them. So I've managed to catch one. So I'm going to leave the link in the description. And what I want you to do is go and register, go and get your free tokens, and there is the link. Let me paste it in. There we go. There's the free. Oops, pasted it twice. That's not going to work. Give me a second. So there's the link. Now, I do not know what the value of those tokens is going to be because it's not live. So this has to be my disclaimer on these things. I have to say this about every airdrop. It's very rare to find them, and it's very rare to tell you about them. I don't know what the value of the project is going to be. You might end up with 20 cents worth of tokens. I don't know. I have added this because A, it's on Solana. B, I've made a video about it, and I've made a video about it because I've found it, and that's going to go live in 45 minutes time. But you're going to get some free tokens. So I'm going to tell you about it, and I'm not going to keep... I don't normally find free tokens, but in this case, I thought I'll do a review. I'm going to put the review up today, but I'm going to give you a heads up on the stream that this is live. So go and check it out. Let me work it out. So what day is it today? Wednesday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday in 14 hours from now. So it's going to go live on Sunday morning at 1 a.m. So you've got 3.5 days to go and get your free tokens. And for those of you, Kabir, that meme, yeah. For those of you who are on Telegram, I will drop the link into Telegram. I'll drop the video into Telegram, stuff like that. For those of you that are not, you just need to go and find the address. The address I've put into chat. Go and have a look at it. Again, no association, nothing to do with it. Go and check it out, see what you think. And if it's worth nothing, it's worth nothing. But from time to time, I'm going to come across these, and from time to time, I'm going to put them at the end of the video because it's no skin off my nose. And if you end up making $5, $10, $20 out of it, great. Then I've made everybody a few quid. Now, with all that being said, this is the end of the show. Kabir, I have dropped the link. The link has been dropped into chat. It's called Dog with Riz. There you go. I've dropped it twice now. Anyway, go and check them out. The video is going to go up in 45 minutes time. Once that video is up, I will have all of the links underneath it anyway. So go and check it out, and I will see you tomorrow. Brogan is back in 9 hours time. He's streaming tonight. There's no link. I've pasted the link twice. Let me go and have a look. I think there's a problem with chat. Yeah, it's not showing the link, is it? What's wrong? Hang on. Did that? Right. So for some reason, it's not letting me type the link. Right, okay. Hang on then. What I'll do, straight after this stream, I'll put it into Telegram. I'm going to put the video live now. I'm going to put the video live straight after this stream. You'll all get notified that the video has gone live and the link will be underneath. Go and register, get your free tokens, but please listen to me. I don't know what the value of the token is going to be, and I don't know if it's going to be worth $1, $5, or $20. But as I say, if I find ones like this, I'm going to tell you. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming to the stream. I will be back at 11. Brogan is back in 9 hours' time. I'm going to put the video live now. I won't do it at 1 o'clock. I'll put it live now. So the second I go off air, the video will be published. So give me a minute. Take care. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget to give us a follow. Don't forget to smash the like button. See you soon.